Here today discussing VA financing and just some different options that you can use with your VA loan. If you're looking to buy a house, you have general questions. So Mark and I have been in the business together for a long time, and we have a lot of insight to share about this type of stuff. We're doing a little test video here, and maybe we get some good content out of it too. Mark, what do you think some of the biggest holdups are for buying a house? Why aren't people using their VA loan? What do you think holds people back from using their VA loan or just going to buy a house to begin with?
Well, I think it's a couple things. Education. Surprisingly, a lot of veterans, VA, active duty, as well as people who aren't even serving in the military right now don't understand that there's zero drawn programs available to them. So you have, obviously, for the VA, as long as you're active duty, are a veteran, and even National Guard and Reserves can qualify for VA benefits that allows you to get into a house with no money down.
Sure.
But what's keeping them from doing so is they just don't know those programs are out there. The ones who do know the programs, I think they're just worried about the price of housing and interest rates. So housing's definitely gone up. It's going to keep going up. So what kind of cracks me up a little bit is you get these buyers like, oh, I'm going to wait for the rates to go down. I'm going to wait for the rates to go down.
Sure.
Well, while you're waiting for the rates to go down, the houses are still going up in value. A couple of years ago, they were going up as 19 to 20%.
Yep.
The normal market is 4 to 6. Well, we're back down to that 4 to 6, but it's going up that much every single year. So while you sit on the fence waiting for the rates to go down and the houses go up, you're not saving any money on your monthly mortgage payment. That's not going to change. So the best thing to do is buy now if you can, and then refinance if the market goes down, and that's where you guys can step in and help. So I mean, while we're kind of on that subject, how does a refinance work? Is there a time limit from the time a veteran buys a home to where they can refinance?
Sure. Yeah.
And what are the benefits?
Good question. Good question. And when we talk about that, we talk about the cost of waiting. Right? Sometimes people are saying, hey, I know the market. I'm going to play the market. I know it's a bad time to buy right now, but they might be overlooking those costs of waiting factors, right? If the effect that we're seeing right now is with rates being a little bit higher, there's less buyers in the market, so there's less competition because it's more difficult to qualify. But you're getting better terms from the seller typically. You're getting seller concessions to help cover a buyer's closing costs. You're just getting better terms across the board. Now the payment may be more difficult because the rate is higher, but as Mark said, you can refinance in the future. And once rates come down in the future and there are 3, 4, 5 times as many buyers in the market that are competing against you, that changes the market from a buyer's market into a seller's market again, where the seller's calling the shots because they have 10 people on their doorstep writing offers instead of 1 or 2 people. So out the door with seller concessions, getting your closing costs paid for. Ultimately, when we do that comparison side by side, there's a lot of savings when buying in a buyer's market. So as Mark discussed, refinance is an option. A lot of times people get into a 30-year mortgage and they think, I'm going to have this for 30 years, or the expectation is that you'll have it for 30 years. Typically people have it between 3 to 7 years. The average mortgage is kept for 3 to 7 years. So basically with conventional financing, you're eligible to refinance after 6 payments are made, okay? And that's really kind of what it comes down to for government as well. With VA, it's 210 days from when the first payment was received is when you become eligible to refinance. As you know, the VA has the VA IRRRL program. That's an acronym. The Interest Rate Reduction Refinancing Loan is the IRRRL, and that's a streamlined refinance, VA to VA only. That's a great program, very low documentation, no money out of pocket, no need for an appraisal, so no one's coming through the house. It's a good program. The other thing that people don't always think about with the IRRRL is the IRRRL is not contingent on occupancy. The IRRRL doesn't care if you're occupying that home as a primary or if you have moved across the country, you've PCS to another duty station, and you live in Georgia now, but your house in Washington, you need to refinance with the IRRRL. Typically in conventional financing, if you do not occupy, then you're going to get worse terms. You're going to get the terms of a non-owner occupied property, an investment property. opposed to a primary occupancy where you're living. Okay, lenders give better terms to the property where you're living there, right? With the VA IRRRL, it doesn't matter. They understand you're military, they understand you're being moved around the country, and so they don't care if you live in Georgia and the property you're looking to refinance is in Washington State. You can still do that with the IRRRL and get the terms associated with a primary occupancy. Okay, so that's one beautiful thing about the IRRRL. So we have to, as buyers and as advisors, we have to help people understand, look, you can anticipate the future refinance here. However you're buying this today, this doesn't mean it's going to be like that forever, right?
Right.
And so that's one thing to consider for sure.
Yeah, you got a lot of the big financing people out there, investors. You don't see them waiting for the rates to go down. They're buying now because they know that rates can change, that they can go down, they can refinance. And I'm sure a lot of you guys follow Dave Ramsey. He's a huge financing guy. He's out there telling everybody, get off the fence and buy now because you will end up paying more later. As Mark stated, what happens is when the market gets to be really good for buyers, then you've got competition. And these sellers are going to look at all the offers presented to them, and they're going to take whatever nets them the most and whatever is going to be the easiest financing. And guess what? The easiest financing is always going to be cash, followed by conventional. So a couple of years ago, when I had listings, I was getting 12 to 20 offers on every one of my listings. We would look at what netted the seller the most, who was asking for the least, and who had the easiest financing to work with. So if you're able to buy now, buy now. You can get something better later on.
Awesome, man. I think that's a good topic, and we can wrap with that, guys. We're going to be here dropping some information for everyone to share and inquire on. If there's any questions that pop up, if you guys have questions for Mark and myself, this is Mark Gant with Military Homes Group. He's a realtor that I've been partnered with for half a decade now. Amazing guy, prior service, great agent, been an agent for 20 some odd years, so I couldn't be happier to be partnered with Mark. And obviously, I'm Mark Villano with Veterans Lending Group, branch manager here in Lakewood. This is like a little live cast thing that Mark and I are putting together and just trying to share some information about.
It'll get better over time, trust us. But just a point on for both myself and Mark, even though we're here in Washington State, just outside of Fort Lewis, McCord, or the name change to JBLM, we can help you anywhere in the world or in the United States with your finances to get a loan, to find a house to buy, to find a house to sell. We can help you with all that. So don't hesitate to reach out.
Of course, yeah, man. We're in 50 states. My team is licensed in 50 states. If you have questions, don't hesitate to reach out with us, guys. And if you do have questions, drop them in the chat. Maybe we can do a video based on those questions. There's a ton of information out here in the space. When you're coming to the point in your life where it's time to start considering, biting off that biggest investment for a lot of people, the largest investment of their life is going to be their home, their mortgage, and it's where your family goes. There's a lot of questions that come within that. There's no such thing as a dumb question. So reach out to us with any questions at all. We'd love to help, and appreciate you guys watching today.
And please like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.